sweet pickles.
This is a recipe we found last year, but it takes 48 hours. And as a worn out mama, we don't have that kind of time.
So we've modified it to where it takes about 4 to 6 hours. Before we get too far into this, y'all do us a favor and hit like and subscribe to help us out.
For this recipe, you're going to need 20 to 30 pickling cucumbers. Shape and size doesn't matter, guys, but make sure you pick good produce. Nobody wants a nasty pickle. While I'm washing these, I'm going to pass it over to Holly with the slicing.
Today we're using a vegetable slicer, but you can also use a knife. And if you'd like to do this beforehand, you can go ahead and put your cucumbers on ice. That way we don't have soggy pickles.
Nobody likes a soggy pickle.
We have most of our cucumbers sliced. Let's head on over to the water bath canner.
This is a step you're going to need to be thinking about before you start your pickling process. You can do this in the dishwasher or in your water bath canner. Make sure your water's boiling and stuff your jars in there for about 10 minutes to sterilize them.
Now that we've sliced our cucumbers and sanitized our jars, it's time to start packing.
When you're packing, you're going to want to put as many cucumber slices in your jar as possible. You can even give it a little love tap to make sure there's no wasted space. The reason people do this is because you waste a lot less brine and you don't get what they call fruit float, but I like to call pickle float.
Now, let's head on over and start our brine.
Now it's a great time to start our brine.
For this recipe, we're going to need 8 cups distilled white vinegar, 5%, 10 cups of sugar, 3 tablespoons of canned salt, and 1 tablespoon of pickling spice.
Now for this recipe, you can also add seasonings like celery seed and cloves, but we're not doing that today. I'm just going to give this a good mix of love.
Once Megan stirred all of our ingredients together, we're going to head on over to the stove and put it on a medium to high heat and bring it to a slow boil.
Once it's on a slow boil, we're going to remove it from the heat and start filling our jars. Now that we've got our jars all filled with the brine, it's time to finish our jars before the processing time.
To start off with, we're going to use an air bubbling tool, or in this case, a butter knife, and get all of the air bubbles out of our jars.
When you do this step, you need to check and make sure the brine is still at a good level in your jar, so about an inch headspace, and you also need to make sure no pickles are coming out because that'll affect your seal. Now that we've got all the air bubbles out, we've checked our brine, and we've removed any pickles from the top that might affect our seal, it's time for the Worn Out Mama's Cannon's secret ingredient. If you can remember at the beginning of this video, we told you that the original recipe was a 48-hour process, and we just ain't got that time. So we have a secret ingredient for you, and it is Miss Wage's Extra Crunch.
It gives you that little bit of crunch in every bite of pickle.
If you look at the back of the jar, it says 1/8 teaspoon per pint, and we're dealing with pints today, so we're going to fill each one of these jars with 1/8 of a teaspoon of Extra Crunch. Now that we've put our Extra Crunch in each jar, it's time for one of the final steps, and that's cleaning the rims of your jar. This is a very important step that you don't want to miss out on, because if you do, it might affect the seal of your jar.
You're going to take that same distilled white vinegar you used earlier and just get a little bit on a paper towel and clean each brim. That way you don't have any brine or anything else on the brim that could affect the seal.
Now that Holly's cleaned the rims, I'm going to come in behind her and put the lids on our jar. A step you didn't see that we did is we actually boiled these lids for just a second to get the seal hot.
After the lids are on, I'm going to go behind Megan and I'm going to put the rings on. And I'm only going to put these on about finger tight. That way they're not on there too tight.
Now it's time for the final step in this pickling process, and that's the water bath processing time.
These pickles are going to take about 15 minutes to process in your boiling water. Now that our jars have had their 15-minute water bath, we've taken them out and put them on the counter to cool.
We're going to let them cool overnight and listen for that sweet pop.
Once you hear that sweet pop, that means your job's done. Thank you guys for watching Worn Out Mama's Cannon. If you liked our video, please remember to like and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit that bell so you can see all of our upcoming videos.
Thanks
Thanks, y'all.